the calculation part is now going to be very important. So far, it was not that difficult. Things was like, okay, you just had to follow the technique, how I'm creating the visualization, etc. But now we are going to learn the calculation part. And the calculation is where your logic, whatever that, you know, so the in the real time scenario, things are not going to be as easy as it looks. It's going to be a lot of complex scenario situations will emerge while you are so trying to create some report or some dashboard or any work related on your tableaus. So all these challenges, whatever emerges in front of us, we solve using calculated field. Okay, no matter whether you want to get some ratios, or you want to get some new fields, or you want to just make a robust visualizations, you want to control your visualizations, or you want to create a custom filter for your visualizations. No matter what you want to achieve on that, calculation is going to help you there. And the calculation is nothing but you are writing your logic, the logic which you have in your mind, you are going to write that logic in form of a calculations, and that is going to make your job easy. Okay, so understanding the calculation part is really easy. For example, last time I just explain you one situations. I'm I'm not sure if I have this or not, but then I can quickly do it for yourself. Maybe it could not save in this. So last time, um, let me let me bring the same view, and then I'll start from there. Yeah, this is the product. Okay, I said if someone wants to look at all the individual numbers um, across different time period, right? If they want to look at different time period, so how they will do that? And especially when you are doing it for the you know your user perspective. S- So you bring that order date field on the columns to make it you know looks like a tabular, and here you bring the text. Here also you can bring, either way you do and it will do the same job. Even if I bring it here, it will just give me this aggregations, and it's look at that, it actually when you bring that there, it's actually pushed into text. See, T for text, and this is text, it's going and sitting on text. Now if you want to, if the user wants to drill down, he can go like this. He can click, okay, so this is like going drilling down to product. When he want to drill down to different time period, so he can do like that. So he can drill down to quarters, but now years, you have 4 quarter of this years, and that way this will work. Now you want to go to monthly, so now you have year, you have their quarter, and then you have month, and then you have day wise, or maybe up to month is okay wise. And then again he want to so from this is month, and when he suddenly want to come back to, let's say, from month to he want to go back to year, he cannot go back there. What he has to do, he has to, sorry, he has to just come in the same fashions, and it's not going to be that easy. Oh, wait, yeah. So see, every movement here, all these places, you have this option minus. You see, you have like, okay, so you want to drill down at the month, then you have to click plus. When you want to contract at the quarters, then you have to do minus here. Then you will come back to, now you can come back to yearly view. So likewise, uh, that is not going to be that user friendly, and moreover the user experience is not really great. So instead of that, maybe I thought, how I can do so solve these issues by providing them options, drill down options where they can select from a drop down box. So for example, like we have, like let's say I have let's say this I'm creating as a filter, and I got this drop down. Okay, show filter. I got this drop down, right? So maybe I can do it like a radio button, or maybe I can do like, so different way I can, different style of showing this drop filter, or maybe single value drop down. So one value at a time, and if you clear the filter, then you will be like all. So everything will be coming as a default view. Now, so similar to that, if I can provide this kind of drop down where user can select, hey, I want monthly, I want quarterly, I want to see YTD or a full year, whatever you want to see, what at whatever label he want to see the data, he can directly filter it from there, and that will be a nice user experience rather than coming here and clicking, because there are so many. We have like the least granularity in our data set is the day, individual day, and there, so from year, quarter, month, and then day. So that is like, and that use like you're doing plus and minus using this, and you are actually expanding your view to any different time period. And that is actually, I feel like, I mean, still you are able to do, but the user experience is not really great. So instead of that, I suggest you to do something like that. Create a parameter, and I have covered the parameter at the very beginning. What is the parameter? Parameter is a nothing but it's a global placeholder. You use parameter to make your calculation dynamic. First thing, if you have to, let's say you want to, instead of writing a hard code, let's say 10, you are comparing, okay, if the value is 10, then I want to achieve something, but the 10 always sit there, 10 will not change. But what if I want this 10 to be dynamic? This 10 can be supplied by the user, and whatever user is supplying this value, that comparison in the calculation part should happen automatically on the number which supplying by the user. So that way you are going to make it dynamic. Okay, so for that you can use a parameter. Parameter is like a variable which will hold your values. Whatever values you want to hold, you can hold your values. And I have shown you there are different parameters, like we have like all, list, and range. All is like any value it will hold. Okay, any value it will hold. List is like you are supplying some list of item from your end. Now, when you want to store any values from the user end, you will be using end. I'll be taking the some use cases of this all later. For now, let me show in my case, I'm going to take list. So I'm going to create, let's say, time period. I'm going to call it the time period param. Param is like parameter, and I'm going to take a string because I'm going to write here a string. So I'm going to write here month month, and I'm going to display as a monthly. So you can write here something and you can display it as a something. That option is there, and I'm going to write here, let's say, quarter, and here I'm going to write is, so by default showing the same thing, but if I want to change it like quarterly, so I can do that. And then I want to, let's say I want to do like YTD, and I want to do full year. Okay, full year. So internally in my calculation part I have to use this value, but on my display part it will be showing this value. So for user it will looks this value, but internal calculation it will be using this value what I have written like this. And when I'm going to use this value inside my calculation, I have to exactly mention the way I have written here. Instead of month, if I can mention month means one, no problem. It will still, I can use one at a place of when I'm doing monthly calculation, I can use this one. This is just the tentative things which I'm going to use as it is. The name and the value doesn't matter what I'm going to write here. Okay, it's just that using this I'm going to create some calculations. So let us see. I can do in I'll take hardly more than not more than 2 minutes time to create this calculation. So to create calculation again, you can come to create calculated field from analysis also. You have create calculated field from here also you will get. So both way you can get field. Okay. So now here I'm here. Now I'm going to create, let's say, my date. This is my calculated field, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a case. Case is a functions which basically when you want to look at any parameter different values or any measures or any dimension different values, when you want to treat them each value separately, then you are going to use case. Case means at this case do this, at this case do this, at this case do this. So different situation, different layers of information if we have underneath a dimensions or a parameters or a measures, when you want to treat each of these uh, members differently, you are going to use case. So for example, I'm going to treat each of the time period members differently, and let me also highlight the time period param. First thing, let me show this parameter right here. So now see here, nothing, I have not used this parameter. So even if I do any changes, nothing will going to happen. Okay, it will be like, obviously this is just like a blank holder now. This is just like a blank placeholder. Now this is holding nothing because I have not used inside any calculations. So parameter itself has no meaning unless you bring into calculations. Okay, so now see, I'm going to use case on time period param. So basically, like I said, case what it will do, it will go, and now we are going to deal with each member of time period param. So whatever member we have, I'm going to define a logic for each of these members. So the case statement start with case, you write the case and then you write whatever that dimensions or the parameter or a measures that you are going to deal with, that particular item you will mention, okay, after case, and then you start with when. Okay, when this members, the first members, okay, of this case. So the first member is month. The value was month. So when month, then simple. So you write when and then the first item, whatever you have the first item or any item that you want to deal in this case, and in this case is what your time period param. So then what I'm going to write, I'm going to define one logic and I want to ask them, hey, show this value like this. So date name is my function which actually gives you name of the month, and it will give you in the format of January, February, March, April, so on, in the full name. Okay, it will give you the full name of the month in English alphabetical. And now I click, and now I asking me to supply the date. What is my original date field, which is order ID? And you see that amber color, that means you am taking something from the data pin, the field I'm taking. If you see the blue color, this is nothing but the functions. And if you see that gray color, light gray color, this is your parameters. And this all inside the inverted comma, etc., are nothing but text. Okay, this is part of syntax. So now, so I got my date name, and now what I want, since I will get the full name of the month, so what I'll do, I'll here, I'll take a, I'm going to take 3 digits from the left side. Okay, so left, what it will do, it will extract 3 digits from the name because I have taken left. So it will start from 3, it will count 1, 2, 3. Where it will meet 3, then only it will stop and it will give you only 3 names. So for example, if it is January, only JAN, 3 values it will returns you. Okay, from this date name. And what this date name is doing, this date name is giving you the name of the month. And on top of that, I'm writing left. Then what left will do? Okay, so now here this will returns you January, and from this January this left will subtract 3 digits because I have mentioned. Okay, so this is my string. This is my, so left, what is the function of left? String, comma, number of characters. So the string part, the entire date name function I have used as a string part, and now the number of characters I have mentioned as a numerical 3. So from the entire string part, January, and it will return the string part is date from name, which will return January. From January, just get me 3 digits, and now you'll be getting JAN. Likewise, for each of the month, you will be getting 3 digits, 3 characters. Okay. All right. So now I'll get Jan, and now what I have to do, I have to also show the year values. So maybe Jan and hyphen, and then I'm going to say instead of 2019, I'll be showing just 19, 1919. And for that, what I'm going to take 2 digits from the right side and from the year. From the year of my order date, I'm going to subtract 2 digits from the right side. So I'll take right first, and then where I'm going to subtract from year of order date. So year function I took, and then order date is my original date field. So this will actually returns only the year part from the order date. When you write year of order date, you will be only, this will returns you year of your order date. So for example, if it is 2020, only 20, so not the day or a month, etc. It will ignore that. It will only pick the year. So only 2020 it will return, or 2019 it will return, etc. Now, my write function, what it will do, my write function, it will say, hey, how many characters you want to extract from the right side? I say 2. So this entire portion is nothing but now acting as a string, okay, because its write function has a string and the number of characters. So the entire year of order date, this function itself will work as a string here. And now what output it will give me, from that output I'm going to extract 2 values from the right hand side. Okay, now, so since I know that left and right function work with a string, and year is nothing but it will return an integer value. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to convert that integer value into a string by writing str functions, and I'll cover this into parentheses. Okay, now, so this is good. What I'm going to write, and every case statement end by one end, end you have to write at the end. Now look at that. Here is I'm getting some error. So maybe because of extra parenthesis. Okay. Yeah. So you have to be very mindful on the parenthesis. Your start parenthesis should must have one closing parenthesis. If you are messed up with the parenthesis, you will be getting error. So you have to look at, you have to minutely look at, okay, for this for this parenthesis, I must have one closing parenthesis. So this left is ending by here. So you must have one closing parenthesis. And moreover, if you click here, no, then also you see that highlighting, it's starting parenthesis highlighting, right? Can you see that? At the left, after left, black color is the parenthesis in highlighted in black colors. If I keep my cursor here, then you see the second parenthesis before month will highlight. See? So it will showing you for this parenthesis, this is your start. Okay, that way also you can recognize. If I see, if I do here, if I do inside of this, then it will, so you have to put the cursor inside the before the parenthesis, then you will see the opening parenthesis of that. And if you want to look at the closing parenthesis, similarly, no, closing is not working. You have to put at the closing parenthesis. Okay, then it will show you the opening parenthesis of this. If I move my cursor here, second parenthesis, then it will show me the opening parenthesis of this. And if I move my cursor here, then it will show me the opening parenthesis of this. So this is my right. Okay, so now you understood how actually this whole things I'm setting up. Similarly, now I'm going to take this straightforward things, and I'm just copying it, and I'm going to replicate it for, oh, 4 case. First I will copy and paste. Now I'll change this to YTD. Now here I have to change my logic. So that I will do. This is my quarter and this is my full year. Okay. And for YTD, I'm going to just take as a month. I'm not going to change anything. Now for the quarter, what I'll do. So here you had month. So date name was returning you the name of the month. Now I want it to return the name of the quarter. So I'll mention it as a quarter. Date part is nothing but now I have to mention date part as a quarter. Okay. And yeah, so again, when you say date part quarter, then I don't have to and what it does actually date name return you when you write quarter, then date name will be like 1. If the quarter 1, then it will just return numerical 1. If the quarter 2, then it will return numerical 2. If the quarter 3, it will return numerical 3, and if quarter 4, it will return you numerical 4. And there we have just 4 quarter, right? So either it would be 1, from 1 to 4, any number it will return. Okay. Now I don't need, in this case I don't need left function because there is nothing to extract from the left side. So I'll just clear this because it's just going to return you 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Now I need this right, this year, that 2 digits from the year date. I need it, so I'll keep it as it is. Now I need it. So when I do that, you know what it will do? It will, let me show you, open a uh, new worksheet, and if you want to execute this whole things, you know what, if you want to check what values it returning, you can just select this entire thing and drag this and put it into rows self, the entire formulas. Okay, then you see that what it's actually returning. See the quarter, I said quarter returns 1 2 3 4, numerical 1 2 3 4. It doesn't returns you name of the quarter as it is. It will just return name of quarter, in this case is 1 2 3 4. And don't think this is 1 2 3 4, so it's an integers. No. See, any even you can make a number as a text. Got the point? You can convert the number as a text. Internally, Tableau will understand this as a text. Looking as a numbers, but internally this is a text. Date name always convert anything into a string format or a text format. Okay. Now, if you want to look at what this is actually giving to you, so I select everything and I can bring it next to this just to show you what values it's returning. Now you see that what is doing, it is returning for each quarter. We have 4 years, right? So 16 17 18 19, 2 digits from each years. Got the point? I have 2016, 2017, 2018 years, 2019 years. So from 2019 actually it is returning 2 digits because this is my right functions, and in my right functions, okay, here quarter. So everywhere the right function is the same, any right function I talk about. So year of the order date, and from the year I'm getting only the, and if you want to look at the specific how actually everything is working, let me show you first year. See, I'm getting to 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Okay, this is my year of order date. Look at that. And now when I took the complete sentence right of order, year of order date, and take 2, then I'm taking extracting 2 digits from the right side, and which is right side, 6 1. It is coming from 6 1 6. I mean 2 digits from the right side, that means 1 and 6 it will extract. 2 digits from right side here, 1 and 7, 1 8 here, and 1 9 here. Similarly, that's what it keep on repeating, giving me the year number, 2 digits year number for from each of these years. So I hope this is coming clear to you. Any confusion? Any yes or no, or making sense or no? Anything? Can I get a quick answer?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, great. How about others? Because I am not able to, because we are into, not in a classroom. We are in a kind of a virtual platform where I should understand what I'm talking is actually making sense for you guys. If there are any confusions or any concerns, we can discuss. There is no any issues, and believe me, no question is stupid, but answer could be stupid. and you can answer some stupid things, but what question you will ask always would be genuine questions because you have asked because something has emerged in your mind. So please ask me if you have any point, any questions, if you are finding it difficult or if you have not understood it properly, or if you have some different comment on this, that is also welcome. So yeah, so please let me know. Yeah, I'm just keep going with my flow, but I want you to understand.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Uh, Ritesh, I just had one doubt
Yeah,
about the case. That
yeah.
when we do exactly write the case, when there we have to extract some values from the parameters, means what is the
No,
importance of a case?
so case has a case has a no, not necessarily you are only going to use with a parameter. Parameter is the widely used when you are using parameter and when you are having list of items in a parameter, then it is going to be widely used, specifically when you have list of items. Understood? Even you can you can define a parameter for dimension also. Okay, so even dimension also has list of members, right? So for example, categories. I have in category I have three members: technology, furniture, and office supplies. If I want to specifically write some logic for each of the members separately, maybe I can use case. So see, case is nothing but it's just like one way of saying if conditions. Do you know? Okay. Now let me ask one question. So that will actually give me a strong idea. Let me see how many of us we are here. Okay, so we are like five people. Can you guys tell me are how many of you are good with Excel or work with Excel? I know you, many of you, but then if you can give me idea. So I'll ask you, Rohit, have you worked with Excel?
No, no, Ritesh, no.
Okay, Excel is not your tools. Gaurav, how about you?
No. Yes, I'm fine with Excel.
Okay,
I'm working on that.
okay. Amol, I think you would have worked with Excel, right?
I work,
Eh,
but not extensively, but I work means like
Okay.
pivot, pivot and all those
Yeah,
things.
since you said you work with reports, etc., so this is really common. And how about you, Sanket?
Not much, actually.
Okay, okay. So see the okay. Excel, Excel is like sometime when we use a lot of if condition, etc. So no worry. Even if you have never worked with Excel, don't worry and don't get afraid of this. This is really easy. It's just that in a way of writing if conditions, when I'm writing if conditions and I'm checking with the multiple condition inside if, similar to that, we have like case functions. So case basically when you have a dimensions or you have a parameter and that dimension and the parameter has various item, it listing various item in it. And now when you want to go and write a different logic for each of the member differently, right? That time we use parameter. Clear? Since time period has four members, so I'm going to write this for logic like this. So let me show you one more way. So for example, if let's say if suppose this is I'm going to write category. Okay. So I can write for categories also. If this category is, let's say, technology, and what values I have inside the tech category. Um, Let me come back to this view. See, in my category, I have three items. So I can talk it like I can say it like, hey, if furniture, okay, then maybe I'm just okay. So I'll cancel it. I'll not apply it. So this will be fine. Just give me sum of cells. Okay. And see, it is giving error because here you are getting numerical, it's returning the numerical output, and here it's going to return you the string output. So a string with numerical will not work together, so data type error I'm getting. Okay, expected type integer, found strings, etc. Well, so that is the problem. But then let's say I'm saying, okay, if it is office supplies, let's say I'm doing this case, I'm saying get me average of sales. Okay, this is just a tentative examples. It could be anything. If it is technology, then give me median of sales. Okay, let me clear this. I have only three items. Okay, yeah. So here is the problem. The error is giving because yeah, the field it was not referencing correct field. Here it's not referencing correct field. Yeah. So let's see what is the next. Cannot miss aggregate and non-aggregate result in case of. Okay. See, so likewise, I just use this example to show you. I mean, you can use with dimension also. You can use with you know parameter also. So basically, when do you use? Whenever we have, let's say, any dimensions or any parameter, when it has a list of items, and I want to create a logic for separate members differently, for each member differently, then only this case will helps you. It's just like one way of saying if conditions, if you know if condition, maybe I'll come to that later. But case is just like that. We just write, and this is like an easy way to handle the different. Because let's say when you have five, six member or five, six different scenario in a dimensions or in a parameter, then what happen is like you will be you will be struggling and to create a nested if conditions. When you write if condition, that going to be very nested. But here in case, it is like easy way to define each member separately. When this member comes, then do this. When this member comes, do this. When this member comes, do this. Okay, that way you are going to define. So it is easy way to handle different cases using case functions. Okay, now I'm just turning it back to my whole things. So I'll just cancel it and I'll open it again. So I'll get back my original, yeah, original field where I was. Okay, so now here what I'm going to do here, I got my I was just showing you how this each of this works. So you have to understand each of this syntax. Year of order basically returns you what? So let me show you once again. I know you guys are uh, doing it for the first time, but like I said, it's going to be very easy. So year of order date, what it will do. When you want to see what it does, you just bring that here. You see, okay, so the it is giving you error because I missed one parenthesis, closing parenthesis. When I do that, it will be good. So you see that you got all the 4 years, what we have in the data, okay? And if you just want to look at the least granular, the original order date, what it will do, if I bring it here, it will give you, it gives you each individual date which we have in our data, okay? Each individual date, you see, right from right from 3rd right from the 1st March, okay, and the 1st March 2016, it is giving me all the data up to December 2019. Okay, this is my data. Now you see that year of order date, when I bring that year of order date, only this portion in the, in Tableaus, what output it's giving me? It's giving me only year part. So from this month, day, year combination, this is my date field. From this date field, it is just returning me the year portions. Okay, and this way, actually, since it just has four numbers, so this will convert into integers. It won't be anymore as a date format, right? If you know, Tableau has a 5 6 data types, okay, and one data type is date. So now this year of date, year of order date, wow, this portions, it won't be remain as a date data type. Now it will be coming as an integer data type. Okay, so this is what, when I bring that string, when I apply this string here, output would be same. Output would be same, but now it will come as a integers value. Again, I think I messed with the parenthesis. I have to bring one more parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Okay. Now you're seeing the same output, but internally what has changed? It is now a text. This is a number, this is a text. Okay. So since it is a number, so it has a drill down options. This is the text, there is no any drill down option. You see, this is just coming like a, so this value, this field, and this, and any text field if I bring, has a no difference, right? You understand, text is like all your character is your text. So this is, it is treating like a text or a string. Now, this is my year of order date. Now, if I bring the entire portion right of this, write a string year of everything. Now, this entire portion will bring what? This is portion will bring 2 digits from the right side. Now, this way I'm getting only 2 digits from this year field. Okay, string of year field, only 2 digits. You see, all the way. If you keep coming down, corresponding to each of this year string field, I'm getting there 2 digits from the right side. That's what I'm getting now. Okay, so this way I'm getting my 2 digits now, and this is my giving me quarter of quarter name, and this entire portion will give me name of the quarter, and that name of the quarter will come into format of 1 2 3 4. You see there. So okay, so what quarter it is? This is all quarter fours. So whatever quarter it would be, it will return me just that quarter numbers. Okay, you see wherever that it part of quarter one, two, three, four, that number of quarter it's returning me, and again that is coming as a string, since date name returns as a string. So that's what I'm getting. So now if I- what I, if I take the entire portion right from here to here, okay, and I'll just execute this by bringing it here. See, it will give me 116. So I'm getting my quarter number and hyphen and 16. Okay, this way I'm getting quarter number and the years, 2 digits of year. Now it doesn't looks that good. Maybe to make it more intuitive, what I can add Q. Okay, I can add Q and concatenate here with plus. Now if I do that, so it's not very any mathematical things. It's just like Q I just bring as a prefix. That's it. Nothing more than that. If I do that, now you see I got a beautiful Q116. So it gives a more intuitive way to understand. Hey, I'm talking about quarter. Okay. Usually people donates quarter as a Q. So now Q2, Q4, so people understand, hey, I'm talking about this quarter and this year. So this is a good way of, showing my data. Now here I don't need this left of everything because in the full year my whole objective, let me open one Excel. So here in this way, I'm going to remove this. This is not required, this whole things. Instead of that, I'm just going to write FY. FY is my full year. Okay, and that's it. So I'm just going to concatenate FY hyphen and then the two digits for the years. And that way I'll get FY19, FY20, FY whatever year it is, right? So yeah, so let me show you this. Yeah, entire this portion. This is my calculations. Let me bring that. See, I'm getting FY16. This is I'm getting quarter. This is I'm getting full year values. If I keep scrolling down, you will see all year numbers, right? So that is what I wanted to show my number as. So now I'll click OK. My date calculation is perfectly all right. Now I'll come to my original view here. I wanted to do that. I wanted to provide one intuitive option to aggregate the data. Now I have my parameters here. So if I
Okay.
you,
One minute. Yeah.
you said something, okay.
ಹೇಳಿ.
If I change it to monthly, see it's going to monthly, and I can remove this from the column. Okay. Now if I change to quarterly, I'm getting my quarterly numbers, aggregating for the quarterly numbers, and label is coming as what I was expecting. And if I do full year, now I'm getting full year, and it's aggregating as that way. Now, something is that I want to sort my, let's say I'm going to full year monthly view, and here I want to sort this. See, this is a string, right? It's not a date anymore. It's a coming, look at this. The field type ABC. ABC is nothing but a string. Okay, and a string goes as per the alphabetical order. It's sorted into form of alphabetical order. That's why you are able to see all April are together. But that is not something that we want. We don't want it to show hey, April 16, April 17. I want it to give each month consecutively. So what I'll do, I'll just go to field, sort by field, and sort it by what order date. Because order date wise, I want to see this, see the whole thing. So I can take order date, and here I can instruct him, I give him minimum. So now this will be fine. You see, now it's coming all Jan, Feb, March, April, and so on. Okay, all of my date properly. So now we are good. And now if I come to quarterly, now that will also good. So I'll be getting Q1 16, Q2 16, and so on. So now user, you can provide this option to user, and you can tell them, hey, you can now you just choose what time period you want. You have an options. So, and that will be a better way of uh, presenting your data. All right, so this is like your calculation field. I just wanted to give you the essence of calculation. Using this calculation, you can do wonderful job. Okay. Now, for more examples I want to do. For example, let's say I don't have cost in my data. Okay. Now, I want to also understand, let's say I'm going to open a new page. Okay. And now I want to look at profitability. And see, this is my profitability. Let me sort this data. Okay, I can see here the profitability is good. Okay, so can I know that what is the reason of losses here? Can I try to understand what is the reason of losses here? Well, the losses, reason for the losses, first thing I should look at how much actually cost of this. So maybe profit of this is this. So maybe also let me bring the sales here. Okay, yeah. So this is my sales. And now if I have to look at the cost, how much cost of this thing, or maybe look at the table itself rather than going by this chart because I want to look at the individual numbers. So I have my sales number, I have my profit, okay. And but then one thing is that I don't understand how much cost. I mean, I'm making this, and if you want to understand the um, cost part of it, so cost data, let me check if I have. I would request, can you place your mic on mute if you're not talking? The background noise are coming in. So yeah, that will help me while talking. Okay, great. Thank you. Uh, so yeah, so I'm going to bring the cost and look at the my data pane. I don't have cost here. Okay, so if I do cost, I will not see cost here. But then I do understand one thing. What is the logic to get the cost? See, if I can subtract sales, I can do sales minus profit. Maybe I can get the cost. Cost is nothing but, you know, on cost, you just add your prop margin and you sells it. So whatever you sells it, if I reduce that margin, I'll get the cost also. So I'm going to write one calculation. So this sort of things, when your data is not available apparently, but then you have the all the required dependent fields. Using that, you can get your required field. For example, cost is not available in my data, but then I do understand how can I calculate cost. So I know that to get the cost, I need two things, sales and profit, and those are available in my data. So I can get my cost also. So I can say, hey, cost is just sum of sales minus sum of profit, and this is my cost. So that way you can get your cost field, which is apparently not in your data pane. Now you got this cost, right? And now I can bring the cost and I can see how much cost actually it is. So I can just go to text and I can bring a text table so it come into nice way. Now you can see the cost of this phones is like high because sales is high, cost is high, etc. Now, I mean, uh, it matters really a lot if individuals level, if you go and if you analyze individual level when we try to understand the reason for losses, etc. Uh, then we'll go and deep dive by each product line in details, and we'll see what is the average cost and what is the average profit, and is that we are selling the what is the average sales. So is that something that the average sales is less than the average cost, or is there something that return is very high, that's why your actual sales have gone down really low. Okay, and be due to returns, due to the higher cost, due to the discount factors also, we saw that into data. Is that is those things are actually driving your losses, or if it is so, then what are the most major drivers? What are the major driver? Is the cost factor is a major driver for loss, or is your discount factor is a major driver for loss? Okay, or is the return factor, the customer who has returned the product? So maybe we can go and deep dive into those analysis. I'll take those case study later. I'm just going to share some more calculated field, and what I was talking about this case study, maybe tomorrow in our session I'll be doing that. So yeah, so now actually I give you some idea of how you calculate actually your calculated field. Calculated field is like you have options, you can just write your logic, your formula, and you can get it done. Now let me show you some of the important calculations. Okay, how can you see that calculations? Okay, so let me open one calculate field window here, and here you guys can click here at this arrow, and if you click on this arrow, you see here this is actually giving you list of calculations. Okay, and here you have all by default all, that means you have list of all calculation, and this window, this these are all the list of sorry, I'm saying calculation, these are all the list of functions. Okay, so you write calculation using some function, right? Function returns a single values, so using the functions you are going to write your calculations. So what all the functions we have? So these are functions are very important. You have to get yourself accustomed with these functions. Try to try to uh, get into practice using all those important functions at least for us in a starting, and then maybe you can explore as per your requirement, business needs, etc. You can keep exploring it. But let me show you some of the functions. Let's say number. So number is like, okay, so when you want to make it absolute, so when you want to convert any negative number, uh, you want to just make it irrespective of positive negative number, you just want to get the absolute of the number abs, even if it is a negative a, if you write abs, if it is a negative 7, it will turn out to be a positive 7. And then all these are selling, when you want to get the decimal point, upper selling, lower selling, this is selling with rounding off. Okay, I'll floor and ceiling is like a rounding of example, degree, cos. These all are mostly mathematical functions. Okay, log, max, min, power, radians, round, sine. Okay, square root functions, square, tangent, and this Zn is like converting your. It's very important function Zn. Zn basically, if you have a null values in your data, it can convert as a zero, it will convert null values as a zero. Many of the time when in a real time scenario, when you are working in a project, you will also see many of the time your field is giving incorrect values because there are some null values which are not, which are actually hampering your logic part of your calculations. So that time maybe you can use z value zn, and using zn it will actually, for example, if I write zn and that's it. So let's say if I going to write cells. So in my cells field, if there would be any null values, that means there is no cells values, then it will turn those null as a zero. Okay. It will not leave them as it is. It will just turn them as a zero, and it will not impact or it not inflate my numbers. It doesn't do anything, but it will just solve the null problems. Null it will change into zero. See, null is considered as a string, or maybe not a string, it's a different things itself which will sometime becomes like a roadblocks. So to get rid of those problem we just use Zn.
Ritesh, can we write any other thing part of null zero if we want to replace it with some other character or some other thing?
No, this Zn always replace this Zn is not for replace. If you want to replace something by something, substitute is the one that I will show you something later. If you want to substitute something by something, that is not this function. See, look at this function. So if you write any functions, you can also look at the description part of it. Zn, and what it does, return if it is not null. Otherwise return zero. See, if it is not null, if the my cells values, if I have my data, let's say if, so let me show you something right here. Let me show you. Okay, This is my data, okay? I'm taking a volatile functions. Okay, this is my data. All right. Now I'm going to make it paste special. Um, these are my fields. Okay. Um, one second. Let me see. Okay. Uh, Perfect. Now in this field, I say let me remove some of those are randomly. Okay. There is no value. Okay. Just let's say column B. Focus on column B. If column B, there are some values which are null. Okay. Now if you do and sometime what happen, some garbage character come and sit here in place. When you pull the data from data source, some garbage characters come and sit in this place. Right now Tableau understand there is it's a clean things, and if you do operations you'll get the all numbers properly, though it's null values, but sometimes it happens in real time scenario. So this null values, when you have this null values and it has a garbage characters in it which actually not coming as a val numbers, but then it's actually hampering your calculations or creating a roadblock. So in that kind of sense, what you can do, you can write Zn, and then you can write, you can sum this up like this. So obviously there is no such function in Excel, so it's giving error. So that's what your this thing is does in Tableau. In Tableau basically that it change your null values as a zero. So wherever there is null, what it will do, it will place zero, it will place here zero, this Zn will place 0 here. Instead of this garbage item, it will just place 0. Okay, it will not give you. So 0 will not impact your calculation. See, it will just like whatever values you have, it will sum up only those things. But then only thing is like if the null or the garbage is causing any issue, that problem will resolve. Okay. Now that is the function of Zn.
Ritesh, one more thing. Suppose it's not a numeric field. Suppose it's a character field where some null values are there. So if we will apply a Zn function on that particular character field, so it will
Okay.
replace it by right. So then that will not make any sense if it will replace it with zero.
Yeah. See, we do aggregation on numbers field only, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, dimensions, when you are using a dimensions, so obviously you there are different way to handle the dimensions, that you have asked right question. So for example, if I see some values which are not, which are coming as a null, or which are as a let's say I have some dimensions which is a null values. Let me see if I have anything. I don't have anything for now, but I can create scenario where I have like null values. That time I have different way mechanism to solve the problem. I will
Yeah.
I'll talk about sets.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, sets is a for method. Using sets I can do lots of advanced thing. I can clear the null values, I can clear the unwanted values, I can keep only subset of data which matters to me. So there are different mechanism to handle your dimensions. This Zn is only for your numerical parts.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. All right. Let me show you some other calculation here. So we okay. So numbers you have, then strings you have. In strings you have lots of functions. Okay. What are those functions? For example, characters, contains. So contains what? Okay. So for example, if you want to test, hey, if this contains this characters or not. For example, let's say contains calculations ALCU. Is this word calculations hold these characters ALCU? If it is yes, then it will return true, and if it is no, then it will return false, and the result would be Boolean format. Okay, you understand? So it's just checking if something, if some letters or some field is containing some or some values or not. Okay, that way it will just give you end with calculations, end with return true if the strings end with the substring. Okay, if the strings returns with the substring I or n, then it is true, otherwise false. Find is like sometime you want to find a position, return the position of a substring. So you want to find where is that a, the where is this substring positions. So the first value in this substring, it will return the first value of this substring in the prime no, first one. So a is position is 2, so it returned the 2. This will helps you when you are writing a mid functions. Got the point? When you are writing a mid functions, the time when you want to return, let's say I'm just going to um, give way into Tableau, Excel, maybe Excel, I can show you something here. So let's say your name is uh, Zon Zach Zelly. Okay, this is the name, and let me take into a new sheet. This is the name, okay? Now I want to extract the second middle name. I want to extract the second name. How can you do that? Well, you are going to use mid functions. Like you see that left functions, sorry, left functions, right functions. There is another function which is mid functions. So left and right, what left does? Left extract the two from the numbers or characters from the left side. Right will extract the numbers or characters from the right side. But mid, it can do from anywhere. Now you can define from where you want to start. You want to start from the middle, you want to start from the first, you want to start from the third character, you want to start from fourth character, you want to start from fifth character, or you want to start from any logic after a space. Whenever there is a space, after the first space you start. So in our case, if you say, hey, can you extract middle name from this name, how can I do that? Say I can see, hey, I after first name there is a space, okay, and then the middle name is start. So what I can do, I can define this like this. So take the middle name functions, and from where, from there, and where you are going to start, I'm going to start after the space. And how do you find the space? I can use the find functions, and most of the time the Excel functions and Tableau functions very much same. That's why I'm using this actions to make it intuitive and show you how this actually works. So I'm going to find space, okay, the blank space, white space, okay, and in the inside the find syntax, focus inside the find text, comma, and within this text. So within this text, what the cell A1 itself, okay. Forget about those optional things. Now, what this will do, this will return me, like I said, like you just focus here, like it said, um, find what find does, return the position of a substring. So for example, calculation you were looking for where this substring exists, what is the position of the substring. So the character with this substring start, this find will give the character position. So A position here, it is second position. So answer is 2. So similarly, come back to here. Where is the, it will give you, it is finding substring is what? Space. And where? In A1, cell A1. That means this entire text. So where is the first space? And this is going to take the first space, right? It's starting from left. That is the default nature. So wherever it will find the first space, there it will return the position of the space. So it will count. Zan is J is O, sorry, J is 1, O is 2, H is 3, N is fourth character, space is fifth character. So I'll be getting fifth. Find space A1, return fifth. That is the position of the space. Okay. Now I'm saying, hey, mid A1, start in this A1 and start with the fifth position. And I know like fifth is the space, so I'll say then fifth plus 1. That will start with the first character where my middle name is start. And then how many characters you want to return. Then again here is the logic I'm going to write my logic. So len is the length. That means the total length, it will return the total length of this. Okay, when I say len of a1, that means how many character it has. It will return all the length of the character including the space part also. And now from here what I can do, if I can just reduce the first name, if I can just reduce the first name, then or yeah, so uh, wait, this is I'm going to restart from here and I want 1 2 3 4. So entire of this, if I can yeah, so let me write this first and then I will explain this to you. Hold on, this is returning me Jack and Jelly. Yeah, so here is the thing. From hmm, wait, so I should find out the second space, and then the second space I should minus the first space. Then probably this will work. So this is going to be a little complicated, but please bear with me. I'm going to make it easy. I'm going to write and define it first. So instead of len, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write the second space. So after Jack, whatever space is coming, if this position, if I can extract these positions, then my work will be done. So how I can do that? Oh, sorry. Oops. I just messed with this. Okay. Uh, find and find what? Space. Where? Here. A1. Okay. And start number. So here is the catch. Okay. Start number. And what I'm going to write, I'm going to write again find. So where from I'm going to start. So space. This is going to be a little nested and plus 1 and this. Perfect. See, I got my second middle name. Can you see that? Using the mid name. Okay, now you'd be wondering what the hell you have written so much of a find things. Okay. Well, let me break down this formula and let me show you this, what actually this works. So let me first put a comma to show you the entire portion. Now let me break down this formula and let me put that into, okay, so this portions I'm going to put into color. Okay, and this portion also I'm going to put into different color. I think this has become very light. Okay, and no, or maybe just okay. Now, if you focus into three different colors, see first thing is like your main function is mid. What mid does, it can start with anywhere, and the A1 is nothing but where is the cells that you want to execute this formula. So A1 is my cells. This you can look at here. This gives the address of this. So A1 is nothing but the address of this John Jack Jelly. Okay, this is the address. So A1 is where I'm going to start. That is what how Excel works. But then most of the logic is same in Tableau and Excel. That's why I'm using this. So mid is basically where you want to extract from. I want to extract in this A1 and where we want to start from. So where you want to start from, that I'm going to define using find function. What find function will do? Find function basically gives you the position of a substring that you're looking into main string. So I'm looking up, I'm looking for what? I'm looking for white space or a blank. Okay, the blank space or a white space where in A1 cells A1, and when I find the positions, I'm just doing hey +1. That means, so I don't want to start with the space, right? I don't want a blank space in my result. I say hey, start with J. Okay, whenever you find blank, after that you start. So I just did +1. Okay, so far so good. Here I'm just getting my position where it should start. Now in the blue portion, light, dark blue and light blue, these two portions, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to, so let me show you this by, I'm trying to get this blank space after Jack. Okay, and also I'm trying to get this white space. So this white space already I have found within that. So if I can reduce, if this is like, let's say this is 15. If I reduce 15 minus 5 and this is my 5, then I will get what? The length of this jack, right? The length of the jack I can get, right? And that is what I'm doing here. So I'm just trying to say, hey, find the second blank. And how will find the second blank? I'm saying try to find the first, and then when you try to just find the blank, and where you are going to find the blank, when you find the first blank and then just move on. So find the first blank and then +1. So it will just move on, and it will move on, and from there onwards it will start trying to find the second. From here it will, from here, so right from the J, it will start from the J, and after J, after J for Jack, it will start going and looking from left to right direction. Where is it is, where is a blank, where is a space? And since when it start from J and it will say, hey, this is the space, so it will give me the position of this. Okay, so let me show you like this. So if I take the entire things, see what values I'm getting. I'm getting 10. Okay, this is my second position. So you can count JOOHN 4 characters, space is the fifth character. Okay, so the my first space is fifth character. Now JACK 4 character. So 5 and 4 9 character. Again, the second space going to be your 10th character, and that is what I'm getting, right? So if I return 10th, 10 and minus 5 is what? My first character. So if I say 10 minus 5, and what I'll be getting? I'll be getting 5, right? So I'll be getting 5. So 5, and then I'll be getting, and my find, it will return 5 characters. So I am getting JACK plus 1 space. Okay. I think there is a space. So if I have to count how many characters are coming here, I can use length function. I can see how many characters are there. Yes, it has 1 5. That means there is one, if I can, space also after Jack. So how can I find it? Okay, I just paste it here. I remove the formula. I can see there is a space, right? So what I can do, I can say after you finish everything, just say -1. Okay, so okay, so from here up to here is doing what? It's doing, you know, it's just doing that 10 minus 5, and 10 minus 5 is what? Uh, 5, and from here I'm just doing -1. Okay, now if I do, now I got the 4 character. So now I'm exactly getting 4 character, no space. Okay, so that is what is the find function. Find function basically find the positions, mid functions that you can start with anywhere. So using this combination of these functions, I can do whatever I want. I can extract the Zack, I can extract using the left, I can extract John, using the right, I can extract Jelly. But if I have to extract the middle one, I don't have any other choice than using Jack. And not only this three, if you have the length of character, long character, if you want to just extract something like that, mid function can do helps you. Is it clear or any questions? All right.
Clear.
Okay, great. So yeah, so my ask is from you guys, uh, please get this done. Okay, try, you have to get this done. The calculation which I have created using what parameter and case for different time period, you please get it done. I'll share this work with you, but don't look into solutions. First, do it by yourself. Okay. Now, I'm also going to, I have half an hour left. What I'm going to use that. Okay, now let me talk about some of the advanced calculations. And here it going to be you know, big things. And it's a game changer in Tableau because this is going to make awesome visualization, robust visualizations, and not it just visualizations. You can do technique, but then there are some situations where getting those analysis as per our requirement is not possible unless we know LODs and unless we do some LOD calculations. So what are those cases? So let me first talk about what is LOD first. Well, if you have learned that so far, whenever we write any aggregations, for example, let me bring that, let's say reason, you have reason and then you have sales. Okay, now this is your original cells, right? Now this is original cells. That means the sum of cells. This is also function. Sum is a function, right? And it's actually doing sum of cells. Tableau automatically doing this aggregation for me. I could have also written something like that. Hey, do sum of cells, and I could have provided. I could have written like this. So what I'm going to write like this. Tableau by itself is doing this part. Okay, for me. Well, so this is also going to be the same thing. What by default I'm just going and dragging here. So if I do this is, now see both are same. Like what number I have here, same number I have here everywhere. Okay. Now, so this is like your aggregations, and this aggregation is at what level it is happening. So whenever you bring any functions or any aggregated field, Tableau will aggregate basis on what dimensions you have in your view. So you have reason. So Tableau will aggregating sum of cells for the reason. Okay. Now, if you bring, let's say, if you bring a category after the reason, so now Tableau will do inside each reason for each category, it will aggregate. So for central, it is aggregating for all three categories. For east, it is aggregating for all three categories. It's summing up the numbers and giving it to you. For south, it is aggregating for each three categories and so on. Okay. Even if you expand to from category to subcategories, still the sum of cells now it is going up to this label, subcategory label. So whatever subcategory, whatever dimensions you are bringing into view at the last, at that label, the granularity will go. So this granularity for this aggregation is going to this label, subcategories label. It doesn't mean that it will ignore the reason and cells. Reason and cells will be there. So you can see that you have all four regions on the top, central, east, south, and north. And under each region, you have the category. Under each category, you got their subcategories. But then the sum of cells is going by the subcategories now. Okay, inside each of this region, the splitting will happen. So the number of dimension you will bring, your aggregation will split into those many dimensions, but then the least granularity is up to this. So region and category is just splitting my aggregation into various pane. This is my regional pane, central is south, and under regional pane I have my three categories pane. Okay, under each pane I have my subcategory aggregations, and that is what is your level of granularity. So you have to understand, whenever you bring as many as dimensions into view, your aggregation will go as per the last dimension used. That label it will aggregate. Okay, that is your nature of Tableau, and that is how Tableau functions. Now here is the question. So what if I have to do some calculations which I have to make it independent from these dimensions? Okay, that cases arises when you do some very robust analysis, very let's say a very powerful analysis you are doing, and that time you have lots of questions to answer, and during those scenarios you also need a situation will arise where uh, you have to do some calculations, and that calculations or you have to define independent from any of the dimension that you are using. Okay, so what could be then, what could be the situations? For example, if I say, hey, okay, you have regional category sales, but then I want to bring something else. Let's say I say, okay, so let's say I said, can you get me, um, can you get me how much each categories is contributing into this regions, or maybe overall their contributions, you know, and or profitability, etc. So if I have say, like say, if these things are like, if you remember, like we did something like profitable or not. So if I have to say if these are profitable, how much percentage of sales in each of this reason is under each of this reason, under each of these categories are profitable. Okay, so let's say I'm going to this, I'm removing the subcategories for now, and I'm just going to look at under each reasons, and let me swap this to like this. Okay, so this is my, okay, so for each reason I have my subcategory sales. Now what I'm going to look at, I'm going to look at how many is how which all product, how much they are contributing. So they are contributing in terms of, let's say I can bring that here. So I have calculated one profit table, this thing, calculated field, just to figure out how much of my sales were profitable. So I said profit is greater than 0, then label it as a profitable. If the profit is less than 0, that else condition. So else means if this is not true. If it is not true, then what it will be? It will be less than 0, right? So else condition will be opposite of this. That means if when the profit is less than 0, then say non-profitable, or maybe I can call it as a loss. Well, this I'm here, it's I'm getting the numbers. So that numbers what I was getting, the total, like let's say 85,000 or something like that. Okay, so 85,000 I have here. So that 85,000, it's getting breakdown into two part, profitables and non-profitables, right? So 44,000 sales were profitable, 41,000 sales were not profitable. So that's what I can assess from here. Now, so see, this is the example of calculate field also. Without using calculate field, if you have to answer this kind of questions, you cannot do it, right? You have to do some calculation to figure out. Now, I have to, what I have to do? I also want to know, I want these numbers, but not the absolute number. I want in terms of percentage. I want to understand what is the share profit percentage and what is the share loss percentage from the total share sales, from the total share sales. So total share sales is what? 85,000. So let me write down 85,000. So 85,231, this is my total share sales, right? So I'm just going to take a examples, just one example, and rest everything follow the same logic, right? Okay, so now when I bring that, you know dimensions profitable or not on these reasons, now on the color, so it split into bar into two colors, one for the profitable, one for the loss. And just note down one thing. Now you have three dimensions. What are those? Reasons, subcategory, and profitable. Now, so far you understand that last dimension which you have on the rows or columns, aggregation is going by that dimension. But now, since we have bring another dimension, profitable, and it's a calculated dimension, which we bring on the color. So now the granularity is the profitable. So the order of granularity is that it starts from left and goes to right. And if we have bring anything on the color, then that become your last level of granularity. And now my cells, sum of cells is being aggregated for each of this part. There are two values coming from these calculations, non-profitable and profitable, and also splitting into two colors. Since I put into colors, so now for the non-profitable, it's aggregating the values, and from the profitable, it's aggregating the values. Okay, so this is your order of operations. Okay, so that keep into your mind. Now, what my objective is now? My objective is to get this uh, profitable part in terms of percentage. So I'm just going to write here how much. 44,095. 44,095 is my profitable sales. Okay, and then 41,136, this is my loss making sales. Okay, here this sales I have made loss, and this is my profit making sales, and this is my loss making sales. Well, I want to check what is this out of this total, how much is this out of total. This is my total, right? So it's very simple mathematics. that if I have to get this how much this out of this total, so what I'll do, I'll take this as a numerator and I'll divide this by the total. When I'll divide this by total, then I'll get in terms of percentage, and it say, hey, this is your 52% of your sales. This 44% is nothing but 52% of the total. Okay, that means 52% of your sales were profitable. Similarly, I can divide these numbers by the total number. Okay, when I do that, I can get my loss making percentage. So that is the things I'm also going to do into tables. So it says, hey, 52% of your sales were profitable, 48% of sales is loss, because this number is, this number is 48% from this, and this number is 52% from this. Okay, now let us see how I can do that here. Okay, so you understand that to get this number, what you have to do, you have to divide by the total number, right? You have to divide this number by the total number. You have to divide this number from the total number to get these two numbers. And here we don't have the total number. That is a problem. We don't have the total number. Now the granularity has gone to this profitable questions dimensions, and here the number is being split into two parts. We don't have the total number exist in our view. Now how you, and now if you bring your, you do any aggregations, normal aggregations, your total number, it will never give you the total number. It will always give now at what is your last level of dimensions, and at that dimension level only you will get the total. Even if you think, hey, can you create a duplicate of cells and cells copy, you bring it here, that will help you, still you get the same number, because this is also going at this granularity, right? So there is no difference. You can't handle this problem like that. Now to handle this problem, here is your LOD things will help you. And that's what I said. Lots of complex things and lots of robust analysis when we do, LODs are the life savior. So now using the LOD, what I can do, I can get the total of cells irrespective of anything, or irrespective of at least this profitable. Got the point? I can get the total sales at the subcategories, because I want to get the percentage contributions of the profit making from the chair sales, right? From the subcategory sales. So I have to get at subcategory level, I want to get the total sales. See, I have LOD, so let me show you the LODs. LOD calculation allow you to compute values at the data source level and the visualizations level. However, LOD calculation gives you even more control on the level of granularity you want to compute. They can perform at a more granular level, which is include, a less granular level, which is exclude, and entirely independent label, which is fixed with respect to granularity of visualizations. When I say granularity, that I have also already explained you, granularity is the list grains. It's made up from the words grains. That is a list. So list things is called granularity. So what is the, you know, the list data in your order of operations? That is your list granularity, I mean to say. Well, here I have, what is my target? My target is to get the total share sales. Okay, I don't want this to be bifurcated by this dimension. So how can I do that? I will go to analysis. I'll create one calculated field, and now I'm going to write, maybe I want to get the subcategories cells. Okay, and this is going to be my independent cells, independent from the view. So okay, so here is the thing, how LOD function you write. You start with the curly braces, okay, and you end with curly braces. So everything you write inside this set of curly braces, opening curly braces and end curly braces, everything you write in this curly braces. Now in the curly braces, first thing what you are going to write, like I said, we have three LODs, which I can make it into dark color. We have three LODs: include, exclude, and fixed. Okay, these are your three types of LODs. Now you have to type which type of LODs you want. You want fixed, you want include, or you want exclude. I will take example of all these three. No worries. Okay, so first I'm going to take example of fixed. So when you want to write fixed LOD, you have to write fixed. When the moment you write FIX, see that intelligence popping up like, hey, you want this, you can hit tab and you'll get it. Now, at what level you want to fix? So first thing I want to fix at subcategories level. Like I want to get the sales at the subcategories, okay, irrespective of this profit table. So I said, hey, get me at subcategories level. So the moment I write SUB, that is popping up, I can choose subcategory right from here. Now I have to mention colon, okay, that is the syntax. And then you have to write the aggregations formulas. Okay, aggregation formula like sum, average, mean, count, maximum, minimum, etc. Whatever you want to write, or if condition, if anything you want to write. If condition, even if you are using logical operation, then again you have to use the aggregation, sum, minimum, maximum, etc. Along with that. Well, no worry about that. Let's focus here. So what I'm going to write, very simple formula, sum of cells. That's it. Done. Is it? It's not that difficult as you may think. See, it's very simple, right? What I did, I just fixing, hey, just fix this at subcategories label and just do sum of cells at the subcategories label. Forget about what I have in the view. Okay. So now it is just looking at fixing at subcategories label and just giving you the numbers. It's just ignoring anything else if we have in the view. All right. So when I do apply, I got the subcategory cells. Okay. Now I go to analysis. I'll go. So what I got as per my Excel, see three things I needed. I needed total number that I have got now using the LOD, and then I needed the individual number which I have already. Now I have to write these functions. I have to divide this individual numbers by the total numbers, right? So that's what I'm going to do now. Percentage cells. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to say sum of cells divide by the one which I wrote just now, subcategory cells. So subcategory cells is my aggregations. Okay, so it says do not mix aggregate non-aggregate. So I'll just remove it. Okay, that also I'm fine. Now this is my percentage cells, and yeah, now I got this. Now if I can bring this into this one, okay, so this is giving you what in terms of percentage. I have to change into percentage. Okay, so here is the thing. So basically, the thing is now it's going as per the reason. Since we have the reason also here in the view. Okay, now this my sales, whatever sales I was getting this 44,000, or I know that these things will come. Yeah, 44,000 and this 41,000. This is like inside the central. Okay, inside the central. So what I have to do, I also have to I also have to define reason. Do this and comma. Fix it at reason and subcategories and then do sum of cells. So now when I do that, now I will be getting my right number. Okay, now you see that I'm getting as per what I was expecting, 52%, 48%. Okay, like what we were getting into Excel for 52 and 48. Same thing we are getting here. So now that numbers has been converted into percentage. In percentage terms, I'm looking at what percentage of sales were profitable, what percentage of sales were making losses, etc. Those things we are able to understand by doing this calculations. Okay.
Ritesh,
Yeah,
Hello.
please.
Ritesh, can you please explain once again the last part, means the region part?
Okay, sure. See, the thing is, when you do fixing at the dimensions, it is not like you can do only one dimension you can fix. You can fix at various dimensions. You can make multiple dimension fixed and then you can get aggregate. In that way, what will happen? Uh, Basically, you are going to say, hey, inside reasons, inside subcategories, whatever subcategories come, just sum it up. Like already that what we have in our view. But then in our view, we have one more dimension which is profitable. So we have three dimensions. So if you remove that profitable here and what you are saying here, the same thing is this. Okay. So for example, let me just create a duplicate copy of it. Okay. I'm just removing it, this profitable. See, I'm getting 100% because that is my total number. So, well, so what you have here, you have what you have on the view you focus, you have reason and subcategory. So for inside each reason and in the corresponding reason, all the subcategories, you are aggregating the sum of cells. And what you are seeing on the view, the same thing we have defined by LOD functions. If I bring this guy here, you will see the same number. It will not do any change. We'll have the same number, right? We have the same number. If I bring anything on this view, for example, let's say profitable or something like that we had, okay, on the same, so the first measure sum of cells, this is my normal sales aggregation and this is my LOD aggregations. So on this normal aggregation, if I bring that profitable part on the colors, you see that it is splitting into two parts, but this is still giving me, it is not being impacted with this. It's still giving me the 85,000. Even if I, let me see what happened. It's splitting this or not. Yeah, it is splitting, but still I'm getting the number same. Can you look at that? Even if it is splitting into two parts, that is okay. But my numbers, the what numbers I'm getting from this calculations is not changed. You see, in the normal scenario, your numbers is aggregating basis on this part. But in my LODs, these numbers are not being aggregated by this part. It's still giving at the subcategories label because this is what two I had in my calculations. I can show you once again. This is what I had this two part in my calculations, and basis on that I'm getting my number done. So in my calculation I had region and subcategories, this two part, and on this two part I'm getting aggregating my cells. So on this two part, even if it's split, I'm still getting 85,000, 85,000 on the each colors, doesn't matter. Okay, but here I'm not having LODs, I'm having normal calculation. So now the aggregation is coming at per, as for what, as for this last dimension. So there are different requirements. Sometimes you want normal functions, sometimes you want LOD functions, all depending upon the business logic that we are, the business problem that we are solving. So now let us look at here. So here what actually our requirement was to divide divide the profitable numbers and loss numbers by the total sum of cells for chairs, phones, binders, etc. Okay, like I shown you in this example. You have total sum of cells and you have the profit making cells and loss making cells. So the blue color is profit making and the gray color is loss making. So the blue color cells you are dividing with the total cells, altogether your total cells for this, right? From here to here. Ignoring the profit and loss, you are taking total sales and dividing the profit making sales or loss making sales to get these percentage numbers, right? And that is what, when you want to get the total numbers, how will you get the total number? Since we have this profitable dimensions here splitting that, I cannot get the total sales unless I fix this and I get as per my requirement. So this is my fix. Same thing I can do by what I can do by another way of doing the LOD function called exclude. So for example, what I can do, I can say, hey, uh, let me show you. Sorry, the time is getting over. I'm just going to wrap up here. LOD exclude, but this is lasting. Uh, Example, the same things, or maybe just let me clear this. I'm just making a duplicate copy of it. Same thing. In this formula itself, what I'm going to write, I'm going to say, hey, I don't want to fix. Already I have my 3 dimension in the view. What I can do, I can say, hey, exclude the profitable part. The profit questions dimension what I have, just exclude that and I'll be good. Okay. So this is the same way of telling like what in the fixed part I was saying, hey, fix that reason and subcategory. But when I say exclude this, exclude the profitable, that means in the current view where I am right now, in that view, out of 3 dimensions, you exclude this part and let 2 others be as it is. Okay, that's what it means. Excluding one means it's not going to exclude everything. It's only going to exclude profitable from this view, and basis on that, it's going to aggregate the sum of cells. So when I do that, you can see, still I'll be getting my same numbers. So for example, when I bring that, I can override this by this. You see, number will not change. It will still be the same. Okay. Now I have replaced that and see the number is not changing. What it was, it's still giving the same number because see, I did it differently, but logically it's not different. Logically it's same, right? If you do, if you say, so like, in the mathematics, like you say 2, 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. You say 4 plus 2 is equal to 6, or even if I say 2 plus 4, still you get the same number, right? It's just the same things. I said fix this 2, or I said just exclude this part, still it's going to fix at this 2 part because you are only excluding this part. Or when I specifically say just fix at this 2 part, that means you are going to straightforward telling what to do. And excluding, you are saying that means from the view, just whatever you're excluding, that will not be into a picture, other than everything will be in the picture. Okay. All right, so that's all. I'm going to wrap up here, and we'll continue this exercise LOD and use cases, etc. Some use cases we'll do in the further sessions. Tomorrow again we'll be continuing with the same things, and we'll explore a little more and we'll become a little more comfortable. I know this is it's like uh, weird things if you have never done calculation, etc. But then yeah, please bear with me and you will be good with it. Just you need to do some practice. I'm not going to write you any assignment today because I know like tomorrow again you are going to come into class. So for now, you can, if you can just practice this. You have the video. I'm just going to share the video with you, and if you can just practice this in your free